Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. In the anticipation of Avatar 3 Fire and Ash, I decided to review my old school Jake Sully here. This one I believe came in 2011 or 2012, but I got mine, about 3 years ago, pretty much when the second movie came out. So again, very excited for the movie. I hope it's gonna do well at the box office because James Cameron himself said, if the movie does well and makes a certain amount of money, he's gonna make 4 and 5. If not, well, it's pretty much gonna end with the third one. So let's cross our fingers the movie does well at the box office. So yeah, let's take a look here at the box. Again, great artwork. You have a picture of Jake right there and Neytiri. Again, this is from the first movie released a while ago. Yeah, awesome artwork. The only problem that I have with the box, as much as I love the artwork in the front, there's pretty much nothing on the sides. I pretty much have, name of the figure. As you can see right there, this MMS 159, Jesus Christ. That goes way back because now we are like, what? MMS, 850 or something? So this is our very early figure release here by Hot Toys. Again, you have some stuff right there on the back, some warnings and whatnot. We have a very simple box. I'm not a big fan of the white. I would have preferred to see more color. Maybe some more of Pandora's, landscape on the sides. But the front does look very nice. You have the tree right there, the main tree in the movie. You have another Banshee right there. I don't know if that's Jake. It's hard to see. I think that's Jake and Neytiri. So very awesome shots right there. I think those are from the movie itself, so that's very nice. So I hope that when the third movie is gonna come out next week on the 19th, I hope Hot Toys is gonna give us maybe some villains, maybe Quaritch and that new chick of Orang. So it would be cool. Also, hopefully they're gonna redo Jake and Neytiri because the last versions of those figures weren't that good. So yeah, let's take a look at the accessories and start the review. Okay, so in terms of accessories, pretty much everything is on the figure, so I'm just gonna show you here some separate stuff. So I have 4 hands in total with the figure. These looks to be like some grabbing hands, maybe to hold the knife. You have an extra open, relaxed palm right there. Again, very nice detail. Something to point out, obviously Jake being a clone, I guess in the first movie and throughout the franchise pretty much have 5 digits, whereas regular Navi people, avatars, they have like only 4. So that's very cool here, and again very nice texture and grain features. And the other thing is this hunting knife that pretty much velcros to his chest. Again, very nicely done. This very nice. I think this is supposed to be like a rock, material that he had in the movie. Very sharp, obviously. Very nice handle right there. And the other thing is pretty much the base, which is very nice. This does have a lot of feature. I don't have the batteries for it, unfortunately, but all you have to do is unscrew this. Put, I believe it's like AAA's inside there, and these parts here are gonna light up pretty much like in Pandora. Everything lights up during the night. But again, fantastic, very nice base. I'm surprised that they haven't used these for like Predator figures because it looks very good, especially considering how old this is. Again, would have been cool to see more textures and maybe some more dirt, but again, it's not bad. This thing is better than the base of the Feral Predator because that was pretty sloppy. Again, the rock is very convincing, the textures, especially the tree trunk right there. I mean, obviously this could have been done, maybe in a lighter color to simulate inside, the tree stump. But I mean, it's very nice. Again, you have the on-off switch right there, and you have some synthetic, leaves right there, pretty flexible. These are obviously plastic. We have very convincing base on these. And again, I did a modification on mine. Usually comes with a clamp, but I put this instead, and I gave the clamp to like the Coruscant Boba Fett to hold him in place better. But this one usually has a waist clamp. So yeah, very nice base again. This one looks cool. Okay, and here's the figure itself. I mean, this guy looks insane, especially considering how old he is. I mean, even in the newest releases of Jake and Netiri, obviously Netiri has a brand new body, but Jake, Hot Toys didn't bother to give us a brand new body. It's pretty much the same body. So let's hope that for like the third movie it's gonna have maybe like a seamless body. That would be cool. But yeah, very nice proportions, the details. So again, there are some extra stuff that you have to put on. I think the grenade belt, that comes separate. Some of these necklaces around the neck, and this I believe is like I guess like a talking mechanism, you know, military tech right there. This is how he talks. And then some of these bands right there on this bicep, and again the level of detail is insane. These are actually feathers, not real feathers but like synthetic. They are very convincing, you know. Even these right there, yeah, this is plastic I believe, yeah. And then what's obviously you have the massive gun right there. This was used on the helicopters in the movie, and obviously avatars being so big, they could carry, you know, them as weapons. We have very nice details right there, obviously from the imagination of James Cameron. I mean, this guy sure knows how to make a movie. So yeah, I can't wait to see the third one. Again, you have the braces right there, which are separate pieces. Again, the same thing here. This, you know, you have to assemble yourself. It's a bit tricky because this is like a rubbery piece, so it's quite tricky to put up. There, right there, and you have that. Obviously, this is from the end of the movie, of the first one, and you have the war paint on the figure. Again, fantastic patterns, especially on the head. Right there, very realistic eyes. Look at that shot right there. Wow, he looks incredible. You have the mohawk, again from the end of the movie. And what I like about this one versus like the latest Avatar figure is, see, pretty much this is like sculpted right there, the mohawk part, until right there. And these you have individual braids, which is obviously synthetic hair, and you have all these crazy beads right there, and this you know, feathers. It's fantastic, very realistic. Whereas the newer figures pretty much like they have like sculpted hair. It doesn't look that good, you know. They look like Barbie dolls. So that's one of the main reasons that I didn't purchase them. You know, I had the opportunity plenty of times, but I would say the only advantage of the newer figures is they have multiple they have obviously movable eyes, but these only look very realistic. As you can see, they almost look like glass eyes. But yeah, very awesome head sculpt. Again, I'm not a big fan of the open mouth. I think it makes the figure look a little bit like, you know, stupid. He looks surprised. But second head sculpt would have been cool. So yeah, the body is pretty much like a softer material, you know, from the neck up until his waist, and then the rest is, you know, PVC plastic. I like this part right there that hides, you know, his abdomen joint. Very detailed. And yeah, that's why I think, you know, the second figure is a step back, where this one, you know, considering how old he is very detailed. You know, the second figure, obviously from The Way of Water, looks pretty much, you know, naked. He doesn't have a lot of stuff on him, you know, which is not necessarily Hot Toys' fault, but he could have, you know, give him maybe some different looks from the movie. Again, this is cloth right there with these individual beads on the strands right there. The craftsmanship of this figure is insane. As you can see, all of those are individual, I think. Yeah, as you can see right there. Wow, this blows my mind how detailed it is. Again, you have the tiger stripe design throughout the figure, and you have this leg braces right there. I believe this is when he was on those banshees, ikrans, I believe they are called, you know, just to protect his you know, inside of the thigh right there. Very nice. Those are different pieces. And then you have his feet right there. I believe when the prototype was shown, I believe in the San Diego Comic-Con, I remember seeing that they added a joint right there, which was removed obviously from the final product. I think it's a good idea because it makes it, you know, look more realistic. And there's a joint right there, which is nicely hidden. I mean, it's not too bad considering you have visible joints. It's very well conceived, especially right there. You know, this is hidden by the arm guard right there. We have very nice figure right there in terms of detailed. This one for years, you know, is readily available pretty much everywhere. I believe to the point that he was on sale. I think I remember Big Bad Toy Store They had them on sale for like $180. Originally he was like $315. Pretty expensive figure for back in the day, considering, you know, figures back then were like, geez, 150, 160. But this guy, considering his height, I'm gonna do some size comparison. You know, he's about 18.5 inches tall, so very big figure. You know, back then obviously he had a brand new body, so 315 wasn't that bad. And even like today, I think the newer figures were like 350, 400 for the deluxe version, which is not too bad. So yeah, let's look at some references here from the book and see how accurate the face is. And again, you have the cheeks right there of his ass, and some string right there that attach everything together. This is velcroed right there, and you have the realistic hair. The only thing that this doesn't have, where the prototype did have, is like the white part inside. He has some white hairs in the movies, obviously, so that's, again, it's an easy fix if you are willing to do that. This is very nice braid right there, very nice, with some synthetic hair. Oh, very nice. That attaches to the head, so yeah. Okay, so I have two books right here from the movie. This is the visual dictionary. I also have the art book. This is from The Way of Water, and I'm planning to get the one for the third movie, obviously. But would have been cool, like, if the Hot Toys figure, obviously from the second movie, would have like rastas, like this guy, with obviously wool hair, because this reminds me a lot of what they did with the Jack Sparrow. Again, that would have been awesome if they would do like an artisan version and a regular version. And as you can see, it doesn't have a lot of armor. And I don't know if is this the same knife. I think it's the same knife right there in this in the first movie. The handle looks a little bit different. But yeah, so yeah, let's look inside, because this has some great references, obviously, from the movies. So let's see here. Yeah, awesome look right there with the paint. Again, they could have done the same thing here with the Hot Toys figure. I don't know if that one has the war paint. I have to look at the figure again. But it pretty much introduces all the characters. Obviously, Neytiri and Jake right there. Yeah, awesome. Introduces the family. I think this is pretty much how the Hot Toys figures look from the first movie. As you can see, not a whole lot. You know, he has like that almost mohawk look, with some military pouches. You have the knife, the straps right there. Straps for the arms, and this. So he looks a little bit plain. Again, it's not necessarily Hot Toys' fault that he looks this way. He obviously also comes with the tomahawk right there. This is that you know, tech that he has on this neck where he communicates. I believe it's called, let's see right there, the AVTR, I think it's called. Yeah, awesome book right there. If you're a fan of you know, obviously the movie and the franchise in general, I would recommend you guys getting the book. It's very cool. And also another cool detail here to mention, which you're gonna look at in a few minutes. They state his height right there, which is important obviously for size comparison. So he's about 8 feet 11 inches, which is very tall. So not all avatars are about 10 feet tall. I think Quaritch is about close to 10 feet tall. I think there's another guy right there, obviously from the second movie. Here's, let's say, Neytiri. She's a bit smaller than Jake. She's 8 feet 7. So she's about the same height as Thanos, I believe. But obviously, it's very cool. Let's see if I can find Quaritch right there. Give me guys a second right there. But yeah, very interesting. Obviously, you have all the details. They even went into the food. See right there, that spider right there, the human. I can just find. Okay, and here's Quaritch, which is the bad guy of the second movie. I mean, he's pretty much the bad guy of all three movies. Obviously, in the first movie, he got killed by Neytiri. Then he obviously had a clone of himself in an avatar form, who was a little bit younger. As you can see, this guy is 9 feet 5, so he's a lot taller than Jake. And that's also funny, he says he's 20 years old. Okay, that's interesting. But as you can see, I like the fact that they all have different heights, which kind of makes sense, I mean. So yeah, this book is a must right here. If you guys are a fan of the movie, this is very, you know, has nice information about the creatures, the avatars, the world, all the tech and everything. It's a very nice buy. Also, what's awesome is when they announced the figures of the Way of Water a couple years ago, they've also shown us these, you know, Banshees, 1/6 scale Banshees. Man, that would have been such a cool thing to have in 1/6 scale. Obviously, as you can see, they are very huge, but in 1/6 scale, these would have been awesome to obviously add in the collection. Imagine like Jake having, you know, sitting on that creature. That would have an amazing wingspan. Obviously, would have taken a lot of space, but I would have been such a great display. And obviously, not a whole lot of people can necessarily afford, because this I would assume would have been $500–600, and it would have taken a lot of space. But yeah, this would have been amazing to have. So let's cross our fingers. Maybe from the third movie, Hot Toys is gonna release these. It's gonna be awesome. Okay, so looking at a gun here, I kept the hand on because it was easier that way. It's quite tricky to put on, but again, the hand is pretty flexible. Again, so you have awesome details right there. You have those tags right there, the stickers. Right there, very detailed. You have a strap right there that you can put around the you know, the shoulder. Very nice. And then here, this is how they are mounted on the helicopters in the movie. And then the humans will pretty much, you know, shoot. So awesome detail right there. I like how the front looks almost like a spaceship, you know, almost looks like the Sulaco from Aliens. Another great movie by James Cameron. I think it's my favorite movie that he ever made. Obviously followed by Terminator 2. Awesome gun right there. Here you have, I don't know if this piece moves. No, it doesn't move. This is how you obviously, you know, you cock it. This one is stuck. I thought that moved. Again, paint application is very nice. You have some subtle, you know, edge wear right there. And you can see right the silver bits right there. You know, it's pretty clean. And obviously you have these straps right there are, you know, are functional, which is insane considering how small they are. You know, you can detach that, put it on the shoulder. Yeah, very nice gun. It's very long, as you can see. This thing is about, you know, 10 inches long. Not a whole lot movable parts, pretty much. It's all solid piece, but it's all good. You have the magazine right there on the side. Yeah, awesome gun. Again, it doesn't have a lot of accessories, but this is my favorite, and the base. I think these look very nice. So yeah, let's. Okay, and again, I have to took the Michael Myers, obviously the guinea piggy here, the size comparison dude. And as you can see, Jake Sully is massive. Obviously, very skinny character, very small waist. I think the proportion work. I mean, obviously, depending on the size of the individual in the movie, sometimes the humans would come, you know, up here. Sometimes, you know, it depends, because again, not all Avatar are 10 feet tall. But yeah, awesome. As you can see, very accurate in terms of scale. Obviously, he's about 18.5 inches tall. Michael Myers is 12. So I think this works well in terms of highest comparison time. And yeah, also the articulation is pretty good with this guy. I think the knees are pretty much you know, they are very stiff. But other than that, it moves very well for a figure that's very old, pretty much. No loose joints, which is, you know, quite awesome to say. But yeah, very, you know, it's easy to move. You have regular joints, no double joints, but it's cool because it doesn't break the mold of the body. So yeah, sometimes, you know, the pegs can be difficult to remove. Also, I believe the newer versions, you can pretty much move the leg down to have more articulation. This one doesn't have that, which is a shame. But again, I don't think when it comes to the Way of Water figures, they are not more advanced than this guy, other than, you know, the eyes right there, the movable eyes. I think that's the only thing that this guy doesn't have. But yeah, he's a masterpiece right there. There's another great shot at the grenades. Those are again our individual pieces that you can remove. So yeah, very cool. Okay, here's another size comparison. I thought to bring out this guy. Damn, this thing, very awesome figure. If you haven't checked the review, this is the Syndicate Collectibles 1/6 scale Pumpkinhead. And damn, I thought that this guy was big, but look at that. He's like 2.5 to almost 3 inches taller. Obviously it's hard to say because this guy doesn't want to stay that well. I still need to have to buy a base, but as you can see, there's still a good difference. Obviously he's on the base, so let's see if I bring him closer right there to about that. He's not too far off, but obviously Pumpkinhead wasn't that tall as Jake Sully. But yeah, very awesome figure. A little bit wobbly, especially in this waist, but this one is worth it. Very nice creature, very nice Stan Winston design. So yeah, I mean, what else can I say about this amazing figure? I would call it the Holy Grail, just because again he's better than the latest release. Even like Neytiri, she has such a bad head sculpt. I mean, I cannot recognize the actress, and this guy has a very nice likeness again. Not a big fan of the expression. Would have been cool to have like a second head sculpt, maybe with like an angry expression. But yeah, I love the body. I don't mind the joints. I think it still looks cool. The articulation is decent, and that base is kick-ass. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. As usual, I'm very excited for the new movie next week. I'm gonna see it in IMAX, even though getting tickets is complicated because all of the good seats are taken. It's gonna be a challenge, but I'm gonna sneak in and see this movie, eat some good popcorn. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think about this figure or the movie or the franchise in general in the comments below. As usual, give me a like, subscribe to the channel, and stay safe. See you guys soon on the next video. Take care, guys. Bye bye.